Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Micah Parsons calls out Cowboys over contract negotiations. Micah Parsons fired back at a recent statement from Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on their ongoing contract negotiations. Jones said he was going directly to Parsons to negotiate a deal, bypassing his agent David Mulugheta. "I'm the one who has to write the check and Micah is the one who has to agree to it," Jones said at the NFL's annual league meeting on Tuesday. "That's the straightest way to get there. That's the principle that's involved here." Jones also claimed not to know the name of Parsons' agent, David Mulugheta. Mulugheta is a well-known agent who has negotiated deals for Jordan Love, Deshaun Watson, Derek Stingley Jr., and Jalen Ramsey. Jerry Jones with blatant disrespect to Micah Parsons' agent David Mulugheta, "The agent is not a concern here. I don't know his name. Mulugheta is one best and most respected agents in the NFL. Parsons is wise to have hired Mulugheta," Clarence Hill Jr. of All City DLLS wrote on X. Parsons responded to the message from Hill, backing Mulugheta. "Facts. David is the best and I will not be doing any deal without David Mulugheta involved. Like anyone with good sense, I hired experts for a reason," Parsons said. "There is no one I trust more when it comes to negotiating contracts than David. There will be no backdoors in this contract negotiation." The Cowboys have been criticized for dragging out their recent contract negotiations with star players. CeeDee Lamb missed all of the preseason while holding out for a new deal, and quarterback Dak Prescott's extension came just prior to the season. Jones said he doesn't view Parsons' extension as urgent, but expects it get done. "I don't view it as urgent at all," Jones said, per John Machota of The Athletic. "I'd rather pay more and get it right. The actual offer to Parsons doesn't appear to be the issue." All City DLLS reported that the offer that's on the table would make Parsons the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL. That would push him past Cincinnati Bengals receiver Ja'Marr Chase, $40.250 million annually, and Cleveland Browns pass rusher Myles Garrett, $40 million annually, who recently reset the market. Parsons is entering his fifth NFL season and has been vocal that it's his time to step up as a leader. Despite the ongoing negotiations, Dallas expects Parsons to be in the mix. "I feel very comfortable." Micah said he's going to be around, new Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer said Tuesday. "I think that he wants to be. I think we're all very comfortable with that. And at the end of the day, he's a great player and we think he's just getting started, to be honest with you. I have no question in my mind that he'll be around." Mike is excited about the opportunity to step up in a leadership role. "I think that's one of the reasons why he will be around." Parsons has earned a lucrative extension. He is one of the most impactful defenders in the league, notching 52.5 sacks since entering the league as the number 12 overall pick in 2021. Where do the Cowboys see depth in the 2025 NFL draft class? It's crunch time for the Cowboys coaching staff and front office with the NFL draft approaching in just over 3 weeks and plenty of areas for improvement on the roster following a 7-10 season that resulted in Dallas getting the 12th overall pick. As everyone begins to familiarize themselves with this year's crop of draft prospects, the Cowboys brass feels that there's quality depth at positions of need in this class, specifically at defensive tackle, defensive end, and running back. With that, a window opens to take advantage of the low salary cap hit, but you have to find the right players. "I like the numbers in the areas that are particularly important to us," Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones said. "You see so much, many times young players, rookie players really contributing in the league. That's not new for a player to be outstanding, but still it is a must in the NFL today for a draft class to come in. If you're going to be successful, it's a must for that draft class really carrying a lot of the heavy lifting and certainly live up to expectation." From head coach Brian Schottenheimer's perspective in the early parts of watching point of attack, POA, tape on prospects, There is not a drastic difference between the grades that the Cowboys are assigning players at those positions. I think there are a lot of depth on the defensive line, both interior and on the edge. I think there's a lot of depth obviously with the running back position, Schottenheimer said. You start going through the film, which I'm through most of the POA tapes. You try to do that before you get in the draft process, and I mean there's guys at every level with every different grade on them that you're like, the difference is not that huge. Cowboys COO and co-owner Stephen Jones echoed that sentiment with especially high regards for the running back position, a spot where the Cowboys added 2 external free agents in Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. I think certainly the defensive line, both outside and inside, we think there's really good depth and players to be had, Jones said. I think the running back group's really stout compared to past years, so I think there's a great opportunity to pick up young back. All in all, the goal is always to fill the gaps in your roster during free agency so that you can have your pick of the best available players in the draft, like the Cowboys did when they selected Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. Jones admitted that they hadn't done as good of a job in the first step of that approach in the past, but feels this offseason they have and will make the additions to do just that. The key thing in free agency, which probably didn't, on hindsight, didn't do as good a job as we've done in the past but feel like we got a lot of that done this year, is just getting the numbers, the players, that we need to solidify our rosters. So when we do get in the draft, regardless of position, if a great player is sitting there, that's when we've had our best drafts. Cowboys trade for Tyreek Hill true cost revealed. The buzz around a potential Tyreek Hill trade has picked up steam, especially fresh off of Dallas Cowboys COO Stephen Jones' quotes from the owners' meetings. But the reality is far more nuanced than the headlines suggest. For both the Dolphins and Cowboys, the timing and structure of a deal would drastically shape its feasibility. For Miami, a pre-June 1 trade would trigger $28 million in dead cap, more than Hill's 2025 salary. That scenario only makes sense if the Dolphins are truly eager to rip the Band-Aid off. The smarter move, financially, is a post-June 1 trade, where the cap hit is split across 2 seasons, saving the team $15 million in 2025. Releasing Hill? Financially catastrophic. A pre-June 1 release would create $56 million in dead cap, while even a post-June 1 release would saddle the team with $41 million in 2025 and another $15 million in 2026. The best way for Miami to move forward is to trade him post-June 1 unless they value picks from this year's 2025 draft much more. They would likely be able to negotiate higher draft capital in exchange for Hill's services, considering they would eat significantly more dead money, $28 million, and lose all of their cap savings. For Dallas, the cost is twofold. First, they'd need to surrender 2026 draft capital, likely a second-round pick and a sweetener. Then comes the contract, a $14.9 million cap hit in 2025, followed by a staggering $39 million in 2026. While contract restructuring is always possible, that's a steep price for a speed-based receiver approaching 33 years old. It's also worth noting, as per OvertHeCap.com, none of Tyreek Hill's $39 million compensation in 2026 is guaranteed. In theory, the numbers work. But practically, it's a high-stakes move requiring careful cap gymnastics from both sides. If a trade happens, it'll be post-June 1. And both teams better know exactly what they're signing up for. And you, fan? What do you think about Tyreek Hill's situation? Write to us in the comments.